of a sorrowful lad. He had everything he wanted, didn't want what he had.
We're going to go backstage of Pippin and chat with Molly Tynes, who's one of the awesomely talented players and circus performers, and she's going to teach us how she puts on her makeup. Let's go.
So he ran from all the deeds he'd done, he ran from things he'd just begun, he ran from himself, which was mighty far to run, out into the country where he played as a boy. He knew he had to find him some.
Hey, BroadwayAudience.com. I'm here with Molly Tynes, one of the extremely talented players of Pippin, and we're going to see how she puts on her makeup and kind of chat with her in her awesome, fantastic dressing room right now. It's pretty awesome.
Thanks.
So, Molly Tynes, I kind of love your backstory, but confirm with me if this is true.
Okay.
So, did you or did you not come into the theater scene a little bit later in life?
I did.
Kind of like in your mid-20s, yeah? So, when did you kind of bite the bullet and say, okay, I'm going to go try the theater scene in New York, and you know what, I'm just going to kind of do it?
Well, you know, I went to college for academics, had always sung and always danced, and it just never occurred to me that I was good enough to do it as a career. So, fresh out of college, I did a couple of little, you know, fun gigs, like working on a cruise ship and stuff like that.
Oh, fun. Okay.
Yeah, but, you know, again, it was never really meant to be my career. And then I thought, maybe I'll give it a try. I got some headshots done, I went to New York, and I just happened to be in the right place at the right time, which is so much of casting. I saw that there were audition notices for a production of Pippin happening at the Goodspeed Opera House in Connecticut and then doing a subsequent tour. And they had been casting for months and months. They had already cast one of the girls to do the Manson trio, and they needed somebody who was the same height, the same facial structure to play twins with her, because in this production the Manson trio girls were twins. And I came in, I was exactly the right, you know, mold for what they needed, and I ended up getting my equity card, working with Broadway performers, going on this amazing tour. And
that is amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that Pippin did a tour before it came to Broadway.
Well, it was a
right?
different production.
Oh, it was different.
It actually was a Broadway hopeful as well, but it just, you know, for whatever reason, didn't make it to Broadway. And that was in 2006-07.
Oh, okay.
And then, you know, since then I've done several other tours, been cast in a couple other Broadway shows that didn't happen, unfortunately.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what?
The revival of Funny Girl that was supposed to happen in, was that 2009?
Oh, I heard about that and I got all excited.
Yeah, and then, oh, maybe that was 2011. I don't know. I'm bad at these games.
Okay. Sure.
But whatever, the recent revival of Funny Girl. And then before that, a new show called Angels that was supposed to go, and again, didn't happen. But yeah, so.
And then you found one that hooked.
Yeah.
And now you're in it.
Yes,
for the long
there you
haul.
go.
You have to be.
And it's kind of cool that my first professional gig was Pippin. And then, you know, however many years
cool.
later,
It's like
again, it's Pippin, a different production.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. So was that kind of, when you auditioned for the Broadway Pippin, when and where was that?
They started auditioning for this, I guess, in the spring of 2013.
Okay.
I remember having to go to Brooklyn on Easter Sunday for my Circus audition at like, you know, 10 in the morning or something.
Oh my gosh.
It was actually really fun. I did a aerial hoop routine, which I do in the show. I'm not the same choreography, but I do aerial hoop in the show, and an aerial fabric routine. And then we had this sort of sexy, fussy improv with Gypsy Snyder.
Oh my god, that's so cool.
Yeah. And then 6 callbacks later, the most callbacks I've ever had for any show in my entire life.
Wow.
Here we are. So.
Oh my gosh. Was each time like a little bit more and more intense? Like more...
Each time was just different. I think, you know, I was very early in the casting process, and they were still kind of figuring out what the ensemble was going to be made of. They didn't know at that time if, you know, was everyone going to be a singer, dancer, circus performer? It ended up, I'm the one who's a singer, dancer, circus performer, but, you know, there were just a lot of different things that they were trying out. So I also understudied a couple principal parts, so I had to read for those parts and sing for those parts. And
oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it was a lot.
That is so much. But that's so awesome. So what's more your forte, or what has been more your forte growing up? Singer, dancer, or when did you start doing some of the circus aerial type of tricks?
Well, that was actually for another, yes, I'm definitely from more of a musical theater background, ballet, singing, dancing, acting, all of that. But in 2010, I got involved with another Broadway hopeful show that's still trying to, get its legs on Broadway, called Chick 6.
Okay.
And it's about superheroes. And the character that I played, they thought it would be neat if she did some aerial stuff. So for the workshop, I started working with my aerial coach, Bobby Hedgeland-Taylor, and he taught me just some sort of basics to do in the workshop. I discovered that I had a knack for it, and I kept training with him. And then a year later, when there was a full production of the show, I got to do all this really cool stuff and, belt my face off upside down, 16 feet in the air, and all this cool stuff like that.
Oh my gosh. That is so
yeah,
cool.
it was neat.
So you just learned it in 2010. You just learned it.
Well, and kept training, until now. And of course, it
right.
is part of the reason that I get to be a part of this company. So
that's awesome how things happen like that.
Yeah.
Wow. See, we can all learn it. Just go find some of those things. What are they called?
The aerial fabric, yeah.
Find some aerial fabric.
Or silks or tissue, or it's called a bunch of different things.
Yeah. We'll get a good coach and then learn it.
I
love that. So let's find out how a Pippin player puts on some makeup, because there's some pretty intense makeup that happens.
It's pretty intense makeup plot, yeah.
And it stays the same makeup throughout, or do you switch?
No, fortunately we don't have to change it, so you do it at the beginning of the show.
And it stays.
Yeah.
Oh my god, let's see how it's done.
All right. So there are a few different layers. This used to take me a really long time when we started, and
Really? And you do it all yourself?
yes,
All yourself.
They had a makeup designer come in and work with our costume designer, Dominique, to kind of create a different, interesting look for each player.
Okay.
Dominique the word that she always used for mine is that she wanted it to be romantic.
Okay.
My player is kind of part circus showgirl, part weird doll.
That's so cool.
So my makeup plot has a little bit of a showgirl meets deranged doll in a, I guess, sort of romantic way.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Did you name your player, your character you were?
We had names for our characters way back in the beginning, and mine was Maxine, but I'm not
Maxine?
sure. I haven't really kept with it, so I guess maybe she's still Maxine.
Okay. We'll keep it. And each player has its own kind of tone or theme to it, yeah?
Yeah, because this is definitely a show. It's not like, this is definitely a show where each of the ensemble members is meant to be a little different, a little unique, We're not meant to all look the same. We don't all have the same reaction to everything that happens on the stage.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
So yeah, because of that, each player also has a completely different look for the makeup.
Right. So she had to teach you kind of how to do this yourself?
What happened was, with Dominique sitting there, the makeup artist created a look, and Dominique had photos, inspirational photos for each character as well that had sort of the feel of what she wanted.
Okay.
And then the makeup artist would, do a trial and error until Dominique was happy with the look, and then we would see how it looked on stage and maybe tweak it a little bit. And then, they gave us a tutorial on how to recreate it ourselves.
Wow, that's awesome.
So I used to be really careful about being so precise and perfect with it. And then I realized that once the show starts, it just gets all sweaty anyway.
Right. These, for your own personal outings? I feel like I totally would. They all look like awesome colors.
I don't know. I think I'm too boring for that.
Really?
Stick to pretty, your basic smoky eye.
Yeah. This is just a little bit different than that.
Yeah, I'm not usually wandering around with a lot of, bright purple, shimmery, whatever.
Catherine's understudy, right?
I am not. I was originally understudy for Catherine, leading player, and Fastrada when we opened.
Okay.
And it just became clear to me that, and I also do a lot of acrobatics in the show, and I cover a lot of acrobatics that are not in my normal track.
Okay.
And it just became clear to me that it was way too much.
Oh, wow.
So Catherine was the understudy that I asked to be released from.
Okay.
And it actually worked out perfectly because my dressing room mate, Sabrina, really wanted to cover the part, and now she covers the part.
Oh, that's perfect.
And so does Bethany Moore, who already covered the part.
Oh,
Each
okay.
of the parts has 2 understudies.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that. Hi, Sabrina. Sabrina, I'm in your chair. We have just roommates. Ta-da! Now she's romantic Maxine. Officially, she did this all herself. No
We
help
have the
at all.
finished product. I think it took, what, like 10 minutes?
10
about?
minutes.
Yeah. And you can see everything that Dominique wanted. It has that sort of romantic look. You see a little showgirl, a little doll, a little circus.
It's amazing. And then with this final touch,
My little costume, my little neck piece,
look at that.
my ruff,
And there she is, and now she's ready
and
to
my
go
wig.
on. And then the wig comes, yeah. But I would go out like that. Look at that. You're stunning. Stunning. I'd go out on the town, show it off to the world. I love it. Well, thank you so
Thanks
much.
for joining me, guys.
Thank you so much. BroadwayAudience.com. Get here and see Molly Tynes. She's incredible. And Pippin!
Well, I sing you the story of a sorrowful lad. He had everything he wanted, didn't want what he had. He had wealth and pelf and name and fame and all of that noise, but he didn't have none of those simple joys. His life seemed purposeless and flat. Aren't you glad you don't feel like that? So he ran from all the deeds he'd done. He ran from things he'd just begun. He ran from himself, which was mighty far to run. Out into the country where he played as a boy. He knew he had to find him some simple joy.